Call to order the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call. Here.
Grant.
Here.
Sparks.
Here.
Sinkwitz.
Here.
Jankowski.
Here.
Martini.
Here.
Harris. Here. Snyder.
Here. All right.
Everybody, that's great.
Did you, I don't think you called me.
Oh, Jennings.
Here.
There you go.
All right, anybody need to add anything to the agenda? I had reviewed it, thought it looked okay. Anybody, agenda additions? No? All right, cool. Approval of the meeting minutes. I wasn't here last time. I did watch the video. It seemed like the minutes captured it, but I guess you guys can.
Well, I don't think most people got them, so,
Yeah.
right, so, I mean,
Want to review them?
I don't know, do you guys need time to review them quickly?
I got them somehow, so.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Does anyone need a minute to take a quick look? Why don't we just give everybody a few minutes?
Anybody need a copy?
Yeah. I'm trying to read them on my phone, I'm half blind.
I have the Wi-Fi password.
What's that?
It's capital G for, and then Glenn,
Yeah?
425, capital G for Gary.
Second G is
That's
capitalized.
what I wrote me,
Motion to approve the minutes?
All right, motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, seconded. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Glenn, 425, Gary, both G's capitalized. All right, call the public.
You're off the hook.
Off the hook. All right. No call to the public. Closing the public call. All right, lake level, I'm pulling it up right now. It was good. We went over
We were
for a
above.
little bit when we went, when we had all the crazy rain, but it's back under control. Andy had opened the gates to let some of the water out, so we're, I think, pretty good right now. Once it comes up, I'll tell you what the numbers are. I'll do it right now. Of course, there's no internet. From noteworthy complaints to the village, I put in my own complaint about all the algae in the back part of the lake. Oh, by the way, it's .064 feet, so that's, let's see what that inches is. .064. So we're good. We're .7 inches below the max summer, so we're right at the top, which is where it's perfectly good to be. So no problem there from a lake level perspective. Noteworthy complaints, I didn't see anything. It's probably just the start, though. I put one in myself just for the back part of the lake over here by the dam has a ton of algae in it, although after the freeze the other day, it seems like a lot of it died.
Oh, today, good.
But they are going to come treat the lake. I talked to them, and they're coming out on the 24th.
That
That's
happened
right.
fast, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was 3 days. 3 days, it went from nothing to like completely covered in algae. So
Terrible.
they're coming out in April 24th. We've been trying to get them to come late in April because they're going to use, that copper chemical that they can't use in May. So
Right.
they're looking to come as late as possible. So the 24th is when that's on the schedule. I didn't see any other complaints. Anybody else see complaints? Hear complaints?
Sorry, did you mention the canal?
What about it?
Well, just how clean it was.
Oh, yeah, it was in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the canal, I mean, there were a few spots, but when we went on the wild goose chase, we went down every part of it, and it was surprisingly really
yeah.
good. So hopefully, I'm still going to recommend that they go treat that area, but hopefully it stays good through the beginning of the summer here.
Right.
But definitely the worst part was by the bridge and beyond,
Yeah.
for sure, on the whole lake. Anybody else have any complaints or see any complaints or receive any complaints?
No.
All right. All right, quick review of key dates. We're in April. I believe there's a boater safety course on the 30th, I believe. Is that true? Do you guys know if that's the right date?
20th?
I think I had 30th, but let me just, that's the only thing that we got going on in April. I'm going to add into our ongoing calendar.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking May. The safety class is April 30th?
I think there's a safety class in April.
Okay.
You're talking about the border safety classes
Yeah.
here,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this room, yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah, I think there's one in April, right?
Oh, okay.
Let's see if, make sure we can get the date here. Does our safety person happen to know
No.
the safety class date?
No. Okay. I do remember talking about it, but,
Saturday, April 15th, and Saturday, May 13th. So one passed, and the next one's in May.
Do we know if we had anybody at the, we probably don't, do we?
I didn't hear anything from David on it. So the next upcoming stuff is the
Can we
budget.
just follow up with David to see if, Kelly, you want to see, just for our purposes, to know if anybody attended?
Yeah.
what's that?
You want to just check with David Gillum to see
Yeah.
if anyone attended? Because that will maybe help us inform for, next year, if it's too early and nobody did it.
Do you know?
The voter safety class?
Yeah.
I believe it was full.
You believe it was full?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's sold
Oh.
out, I'm sure, I think.
Oh,
you're
did
right.
it really?
Yeah, for down here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It was
Are you
April
still
15th.
planning to do that other thing? Because we're not gonna be able to do it at the boat
Yeah,
launch.
we'll get to that.
we'll
It's
get
in
to that.
10A.
Okay. Yeah, they fill up pretty quick.
Okay, good. That's good to hear.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get any information on that. The only other thing I have coming up on the dates, I have something here that says May 1st, the budget's due. Do you know that? When is budget due?
I don't.
You know?
No, I don't, it's a good one for David.
Okay. So, we might have to get something together for the budget. I should have read that beforehand, but usually they ping me a while in advance on when the budget's due, but do you happen to know when the budget's normally due?
Pardon me?
Do you know when the budget's normally due?
Well, it's in, yeah, I think it's June.
Okay. So we probably don't have to discuss it now. Usually I get it from David.
Okay.
Let me see from an old email if I have when it's actually due. I have it in the calendar as due in May, which is why I should have read that beforehand.
That makes sense, from the board level in May.
Okay, so I don't think I have the appropriate documentation to be able to do the budget or have a budget discussion today, because I was unprepared for that, so.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do that next month and make sure we get that on the agenda for May, and then I guess that would get to
It
the
will
board
be.
late.
David will put it in there for sure.
Yeah, okay, so we'll need to talk about board projects, what money we have left this year, what we need for next year.
We don't know what we have yet, do we? You have that anywhere accessible?
For what I have that. So the only things we've spent money on was the website that we asked for, right? We basically consolidated, I think you guys did that last meeting, right? Consolidated a lot of the budget into the website because we're gonna be getting a new budget anyway. So I don't know what else we've spent at this point. We had money available for printing.
I spent
We've-
$350 on the bags, the
Okay.
recycle bags.
Okay, and we talked about having printouts. I don't think anybody pursued that, but again, these are ideas that we keep talking about. But we talked about having little safety pamphlets or something that we would hand out for people. And in fact, we would print this thing out, and people were interested in pursuing that. And then I wasn't here last month, so I don't know if it was talked about, but we had money in the budget for printouts. So, we had a conversation last time about that, about having,
We didn't discuss that in the last
We
meeting.
didn't.
okay. Well, what I had was the Safety Festival, $1,000, which we'll talk about. We had money for the website, Clean Boats, Clean Waters, which we consolidated into the website money. That was the main budget area. And then we had printing and publication for stuff that we talked about. We wanted to do the pamphlets at the boat launch, right? So I guess I should go back and find out who actually said they wanted to do that, because that doesn't sound like anybody has done anything.
Would the issue of the interactive map be in the budget piece too?
That's there.
That
Yeah,
was-
we approved it
that was
last,
part of it,
so
yeah.
last month that was
All right.
approved.
That was what we discussed with Paul last month.
Oh, so- yeah, okay.
I guess, like I said, last time, we talked about it within safety, education, communication. We talked about having potentially this kind of safety pamphlet that we would hand out to people. I guess if we want to have a conversation about that, we can, but if we're going to do that, the budget basically expires, my guess is in the next 2 months, so that's something we want to probably get on. I can't remember who was driving that. Nobody? Doesn't sound familiar? I'm sure I'm not the only one who remembers this.
What was it again?
There was discussion last fall about having some kind of printout safety pamphlet
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that we would give
right.
out at the dock and have available to people, and they could pull one and go, and have the lake rules, or have a
Like a
variety of stuff
brochure.
on it. Yeah. This was something that we had talked about a while ago, but early enough that we put it in our budget, but here we are a year later and don't seem to have a plan to
Well,
spend it.
how would we distribute them?
I don't know, we said we'd have them down by
At
the
the
dock or
safety
something. Yeah, we're having them down by the dock.
A lot of boat launches, you go to like a public site, they have like a pole and it's got like a clear plastic.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be
Yeah,
right.
just like those houses, you know. houses
Yeah,
for
so
sale.
it's similar to like real estate, but it's
Yeah.
usually small and it's usually on a pole.
Well, we'd put it right on, right where the signage is.
Yeah.
Well, you got
With the
that
lake-
huge
with the
sign
lake-
down
with the
there when
usually
you come in there, that ought to tell you what,
Like at Metro Beach, like theirs is like literally like, if my phone is the dock where you're putting your boat, it's like right, you can't walk on the dock without going past the pole with the pamphlet, and it's got like all the, regulation.
So does the signage not suffice to?
I mean, they have like the signs when you pull in, like telling you where to park and rinse your boat and everything else, but like the stuff on the pole are like more like Coast Guard stuff, you know, like make sure you got your lighting, make sure you got your flotation device, make sure you got like your flares and all that. It's like, kind of like, I always interpret it as kind of like a CYA for whoever owns that launch. You know, so if someone was to get in trouble or drowned or something, they wouldn't be able to blame it because like,
So is that a DNR responsibility?
I don't know who puts it on, but it's very common. Like, I know Sterling State Park's got one, Metro Beach has got
yeah, all
one.
this property we're renting. We don't own any of this
So
property.
it's DNR. So would they have the responsibility for something like that?
I don't think they have responsibility for much of anything.
If there was a
I mean,
liability issue.
when
it
the
would
dock
be
was
better.
falling apart, you know, well, better fix it, you know. The only thing is whatever you do, if you make it a paper handout, you're gonna see them floating around on the lake and up on shore. So if you're gonna go through the trouble of making it, it almost has to be some type of waterproof type thing that they can put it in the bottom of their boat or in their glove box and they can look at it. But when we put out paper flyers, like for an event on the lake, when we used to have the boat parade and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you know,
Yeah, right.
Maybe we could set up a QR code.
I mean, we talked
That would
about
like
probably be a
that.
better, that'd probably be a better idea.
Scan
what?
it Right on the QR code where you can scan it with your phone, like they make you do with menus in restaurants now.
Oh.
You just scan it and then you'll have all the rules with you on your
yeah, that,
phone.
because everybody's got their phone with them.
Yeah. That'd be
That's a good idea.
I always interpret it
Paul a
as
star.
like
I mean, I'm not giving anybody a star
It's
unless
about
people
time,
are
maybe.
actually going to do something. We talk about a lot of stuff and don't actually do it, so yes, doing a QR code is
So-
great. Would you like to pursue that idea?
Sure.
It would.
I'll give people a credit when we actually do
When I
it.
was having that sign design, I could have.
Put a QR code right on. I mean, we could just go get a sticker.
We just need to kind of figure out what we want.
What we want
You got
on it,
money
yeah.
for printing
If you
and
created the
publication.
document in like Google Docs, like they have a link in the Google Doc to create,
We just put a link right to the website, too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Or have a rules thing on the website or whatever, and then scan it right. You
Like I
can
said,
literally
yeah.
get a sticker and stick the QR code on it. if
We
you-
could put a QR code on the sign, just like a sticker of it, like
Yeah.
Ryan said.
Yeah.
Chair, may I say something?
Yeah,
So I'm new to the board.
Yeah, go for it.
You guys don't know me, David Dumont. I've noticed, so we're getting close to budget time, and this,
Yeah.
you guys, it sounds like some kind of handed remarks saying, nobody wants to take initiative and start a project, it's just ideas thrown around. One thing that the budget session does is it narrows down, funnels down the ideas that you're actually going to do, and then you can apply dollar budgets to each one of those.
Yeah.
And then there's almost an incentive behind it to get it moving forward. Hey, look, this is what we agreed on. We voted this, we motioned this to council to spend.
Yep.
And so the brainstorming, I think, should happen more. Those that maybe feel quiet or embarrassed, toss it out and get it out, and somebody else might say, hey, you know what? We at our last council meeting that happened with chicken and ducks. I don't know if you noticed that. That's kind of
Chickens.
Chicken subgroup.
yeah. Should we let them be in the village?
Yeah.
Well, so ultimately we talked about it, and it's a complicated thing.
Yeah.
And I don't really, I'm neutral on the idea, but there would have to be some sort of regulation around it, and that's a big project.
Yeah.
So we formed another committee, 3 council and at least 2 from the public, to just hash out some rules, and then they can bring that to council.
Yep, this thing for the publications, we kind of went through that last year, and now we're sitting at the end of the budget, and we haven't done anything about it, so that's, for this particular, for the rest of the stuff in the budget, we actually did things with it, like the website and everything has already been done. This one's kind of outstanding, and it was something we also wanted to do in the spring, and we kind of sat on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, okay, to extend that, though, my guess is that we either already have something on the website, or there's something already, a document that says, here's how to behave on Wolverine Lake, somewhere, I would think.
For sure there is.
So, other than downloading that and having a QR code that takes people there,
But do you think that I mean, how many people are actually gonna look at that, especially if they're not lake, if they're not?
I don't know, but I
they're
mean,
not
by the same
village.
token, how many people would look at the flyer, the pamphlet?
That's
they
what I'm saying, you know, I mean, people are now getting familiar with QR codes
Right.
and what they are and how they
Right.
do. I mean, that might be the
Yeah.
most.
Is there no longer a big sign down there with all the?
There is.
Oh, okay.
There
But you
is.
get, you get
You
your
can't
kids
miss,
screaming
even
in
if
the
your
back.
eyes were closed, you'd see
Yeah,
it.
it's huge, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you get your kids
But
screaming in the.
People get on a
back
boat and they
seat.
get silly.
People are trying to back in and somebody else is waiting to get in, they probably don't take the time they should. This way they can read it on the lake.
Assuming they
I think whatever you do, it should be like no bigger than a 3x5 and just the important stuff, speed, time, blah, 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 don't,
Well, what's on the board, but if you're gonna take the time to scan the thing on the
Take a
board,
picture of it.
you'd
It's
think
gotta be
you'd
different information.
read the thing, right?
Or you just take a picture of the sign.
Yeah.
What was the original intent of the pamphlets?
To get everybody a little more, just one more avenue of getting people.
So they
to pay
could take it
attention
onto their
to-
boats?
To lake
Yeah.
issues.
Okay.
Yeah, or to hold in their car or
I
whatever.
think originally we were saying when people are launching a boat, they're all concerned about doing the boat and this, that, and the sign's
Yeah.
there, but they're
Yeah,
worried about the trailer and getting in and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if there was something they could take with them, maybe they'd
But I
actually.
think Ed's right, they'll end up in the lake.
Yeah.
but
I mean-
wasn't another piece of that though going in, I thought the catalyst was when we lost that person in the lake through the ice. And we started thinking about how to provide additional safety information.
Well, if we did a
And-
QR code, we could make it a little bit more
Could layer it,
detailed.
yeah. So, just a thought. But
But I live close to that access, and a couple of you guys mentioned it, when you're putting your boat in the water, and the kids, come on, Dad, come on,
I
Dad,
know.
and if
Some
the
other
wife's
guy's trying to
backing in or
back in.
not, and they yell, and then the next guy's beeping his horn because he wants to go in there.
Yeah, they're not generally sitting around reading the sign.
Yeah.
Right.
Or at least the person driving the boat may not be.
Should
Well,
be.
maybe over the QR code, we could put avoid citations.
See, that's,
Scan here.
that's what I see the value of posting all that, like,
Yeah.
safety information stuff, is like, we have people that patrol the lake, and if someone's abusing the rules, and then they can't claim, well, I didn't know. It's like, it kind of
We got 30 days to
makes
tell.
people more accountable to follow the rules that we have in place, so like, the sign is one thing, and personally, like me, like, if the sign, I've never used the launch per se to where I saw the sign, but like, if all the rules are on that sign, like, they're already accountable for them, they can't say, I didn't know, the sign's down there.
I'm not sure. It's just a matter of us doing as much as we can to see that people
Yeah.
have every chance to observe the rules. So,
So we kind of went down a rabbit hole on key date calendar review.
Oops.
So I don't know.
that's what you
Let's
get
start
for
with the
saying,
dates,
"Who
and then we'll
wants
go
to
back
do
to the
this?"
QR code.
Okay.
Yeah, so that conversation spawned out of the budgets due next month. So next month, we gotta come prepared to talk about what projects we wanna fund. If we have ideas on things we wanna work on, we should talk about it next week, next month.
That's for 2024 budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there's a chance we have to go higher on, last year we were pretty close with the money for the lake treatment, because the prices of a lot of stuff went up, so it's one of the things we'll have to consider this year as well.
As far as the budget, anything we don't spend, does it roll over, or do we lose it?
No, you just, no, it doesn't roll over.
Okay.
You don't lose it, I mean, the money doesn't go away.
No, I know, I'm just saying, does it go to like?
But we don't get to build it up, right.
Yeah,
Does it-
you don't bank it.
Okay. It just goes to the other board or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
It stays in the
Yeah.
general fund, we'll
Oh,
say.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if there's.
No, I know it
It's
doesn't
just
go away.
unspent.
Right.
Yeah, so what that does is open up a box, and depending how large that box is, and you spend inside of it, it makes it real easy when we go to vote for something at the council
Yeah.
level, because now it's out of budgeted funds.
Mhm.
And then if we go above that, well, that's not a problem, really.
Mhm.
It's another step we have to take at council level. So if something happens to go over budget because 8 months ago, you thought it would cost this, and you're like, hey, we were wrong.
Yeah, sure.
Then, and it's something that's good for the community, it happens every once in a while. Not very often. We just go over it, we amend the budget right there.
And besides amending the budget, you can always go back to last year. If you didn't spend all that money, and you had $5,000, let's say, that you didn't spend in the bank, but you are having a big expenditure this year, whatever we're doing it for the community. So the council looks at it and say, well, you didn't spend it there, but we're going to need it this year so we can, increase your budget for 1 year to get you past this point. There's a lot of flexibility.
Okay. So I would say for next month, we should be coming and having a discussion on projects we want, and if you have a project idea that you're interested in, we need to think about approximate cost, and if we agree we want to do it, we'll add it to the budget for next year. Right now, I don't have a bunch of projects. The main things we came into this year were Safety Festival, which we'll talk about, the website, Clean Boat, Clean Water, which we decided not to do. So, and then we had something that we wrote, actual fish count, which we also didn't do, so. And then the $1,000 for publications. So we definitely have some things there that we didn't pursue. But I guess next month, if there are ideas that people want to pursue, come prepared to talk about them and estimated budget on what it would cost.
Yet, forgive me, the better prepared an idea, the better chance that it has to move forward.
Yeah. Okay. Next section, okay, continuing business, safety session at the boat launch. So I was not here last month. I don't know how far you guys got. We talked about this a couple months ago, so I guess who wants to provide updates? I know you were looking at some food. I don't know if anybody looked at permits, if you guys talked to David.
I talked to David, he was going to look into it. Where he got with that, I'm not really sure. I talked to him a few weeks back about it.
Okay.
Well, I can fill it in a little bit. The DNR is not going to close that down.
It doesn't have, we don't have to close it down. We don't have to close it.
You don't have to close it, but you got to remember now, it's a Saturday, boats are going in and out, you're going to have a tent there and a balloon and all this stuff, and kids running around. It's really a confined area to try to put something on without any traffic control.
And there's only, what, 14, is it 14 slots?
13, I think.
13 slots for
And
vehicles, so.
And, you got one outhouse there. If I suggested we built that park for this reason. The water has nothing to do with our event. We're not going to be out in the water, so we can go at the park. There's a gazebo there, the bathrooms are there. If we want to do hot dogs or something, there's a grill there. And any of the stuff that we want to teach about fishing, casting, tying knots, can all be done in the park. And there's a lot more parking, too. My suggestion, and I talked with a couple other people, that they said, why aren't we going in the park?
Well, Kyle and I had a discussion about that as well, because of the different kinds of, like the access, limited parking and those
Yeah.
kinds of things, so.
And we kind of came up to the consensus of, we thought the park would have been
I think,
better.
yeah, I agree. I think the park would be the better.
Yeah, just
Option.
because it's not as confined,
Yep.
you know, easier for people to come and go.
Yeah.
And
Once-
I think it's more conducive for a kid thing, you know?
Yeah.
You know, the older brother's doing this, the little girl's on a swing set or whatever, you know? and It's just,
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, let's stop
So
with
in the
safety
past,
thing.
was this at the park? I mean, this is not the first time this has been done, but was this used to be down by the dock?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
pardon me, I didn't hear,
Did it used to be down by the dock? This is not the first time, this festival.
Yeah, didn't you
The
say
Safety
we used
Fair
to
has
have-
happened before. It used to be down by the dock.
we did it, I know for sure twice, and we had like rowboats parked on the grass, and one guy was showing how to fish, and another was tying how to tie, but it, you know, people that want to put their boat in the water that aren't residents, you go, you know, so what? But if
Yeah.
you're a resident, and the family's here for a graduation party or something, and they can't get their boat in the water, or it's all backed up,
It's congested there, and I've never been to one myself, but traditionally, the way I understand it, third person, is that it's been at the launch every time. I'm not saying that's where it needs to be, but I don't know enough about it. Did many people like access it? Does anyone know from the water? Was that one of the so
I think the last time we put
Chief
one on, it was
Ellsworth mentioned
maybe
that it
20
was
years
a big
ago.
event, you know, in the past.
Yeah. That was, I would have never seen it. Obviously, I wasn't there.
I'm only
for
in
it.
Me
the bet the
neither.
last time we did it, any kind of fishing exposition or show and tell, that's probably 20 years ago.
Yeah. I would say that
Wasn't
my
an
understanding is
annual
it was
event.
always at the launch. We would need to get permit to do it at the launch. We can't block anything. We can't stop people from going. You can't shut down the launch. The launch has to be active, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some areas down by the boat area. We talked about if we wanted to show the wash station. There's a big grass area up on this side of the fence.
Yep.
That we could have stuff, but like if we're not prepared to talk about a layout and what events we have and where we are, like then it's probably not going to happen. But we need to, I guess, where did we get last month for ideas? I think we had.
Well, we had some
Food.
focusing on food.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Kyle, you were
I-
looking into the bounce houses and the slides or
Yep,
whatever.
I have the, he was saying, Genco Cabinets was saying that bounce house or a slide, but we kind of talked about a slide would be better because then you don't have to manage it as much. It's run up, go down, run up,
Right.
go down.
You don't have to make sure kids have their shoes off.
Right, all that. And then he said he would rent it and the bounce house company would have the liability with that. And then Detroit Mini Donut said she would come out. She did ask because I told her the amount of people that have been in the past, and she did ask if we would have like I forget what she called it, but like a coming out fee. She said $200. I don't know if that's something we want to do or not. So when I spoke to Detroit Mini Donut, she said she would come out for $200, and then we could work something out, like if her sales are so much, then it would waive the fee or something like that, if we want to talk about that. And then the bounce, or the slide would be sponsored. And then I did talk to Genco Cabinets about, they were willing to set up like a table to do knots, or not so much fishing. He said doesn't really have anything to do with fishing. Like,
Yeah.
couldn't have anything with that, but he said he could like, screw together a board, get some rope and, show an example of how to tie knots and things.
Did you
like
talk to the bait shop at all?
that. No, I did not.
Chair, may I?
Yeah.
Loosely, may I suggest that first come to an agreement on the location? And then that might change how the accoutrements of the event come together. Just a suggestion, but maybe come to a consensus on that to get a foundation for your thoughts and then start to go from there.
Well, I don't
Let's make
know
a
why we
motion.
can't, as a board, agree tonight, first of all, where?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Why don't we do that right now is my
Right now.
suggestion. It's up to the
The
chair.
park
Yeah.
or the
Somebody make
launch
that
site?
motion.
Then once that's done, now we gotta pick out a time
Yeah, I mean, I
that
don't
it
think we
doesn't
need a motion,
interfere
we just
with
agree to it.
anything else. And the other thing nice about the park, even if it's raining, you can still hold it. Because you've got that huge gazebo.
Right.
So do we need to make a motion on?
We're not recommending anything to council
No.
at this point,
So
we're just having a
just-
conversation, so
okay.
I
I
have no strong
agree.
opinion.
Does anyone
I
object to
vote
the
on
park?
I make a motion for the park. Did you?
I just
Second.
said, well, we didn't have to make a motion, so I just said I voted.
Yeah,
Well,
I-
maybe you should now.
Okay.
Just because.
All
I'll
right, I
second.
second the motion
Okay.
of the
Okay,
park.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, so, fine.
Okay, it's at the park.
Okay.
So that's
Sorry,
that.
next.
So now,
Outdated.
so first of all, so why don't we also identify like a date for sure, because we had talked about May 20th, and I know, Ed, you thought that might be a little too soon?
Yeah, I think I've got a lineup for the food. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much, but
Doesn't Penny Lake give us,
huh?
doesn't Penny Lake give us dogs
Yeah.
on consignment, something like
Yeah.
that?
And
and
you
then-
spoke to them about that?
Yeah, he's on board.
I think the other idea with May 20th was we didn't want to do it too late because people traveling, once school's over,
Right,
you know,
right.
people going out of town and things like that.
Can we coordinate and market this thing and advertise fast enough for May 20th? Because we're a month away.
Yeah, I think the big thing is going to be Wolverine Lake Facebook page. I feel like, I mean, for an event to go to for
Put it on the sign.
2-3 hours, put it on, go to for 2-3 hours. It's not like it. I don't really feel like it needs to be like a
All-day event.
very planned thing. It's not like people are like they have to plan their whole day around it. Like, oh, let's just stop at the park. I think it's going to be like a quick. Let me go down the slide a few times, maybe go to the park for a little while. It's not going to be a main event.
Most people might see it from just
What I would do,
driving by.
like what I always did at Multi-Lakes when we started the car shows, come for lunch. Start at 10, we'll have a lunch, and everything's done by 1:30, 2 o'clock. Even if you want to go less.
Okay.
That way you're not
But
getting...
let's figure out a date, and then let's figure out the timing, just like you said. Let's put everything in an order here, what we want to do.
And as far as the other, when you say that, when you spend all this money to be on the lake and you're on the water, trust me, you might have a place up north, but this is where you play. People don't leave and, oh, I'm going away for a whole week or something like that. They might, but it's not as soon as school lets out. Because all the kids get out there on the lake, and that's when all the grab ass and all the good times start.
So, I mean, I'll talk about this later, about the recycling program. It seems like the majority of the people that actually, partook in this thing were ones that got the flyer I sent, not the ones that saw it on the Facebook page. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know how many people.
How'd you find that out?
Page. She just asked, I mean, casually. I mean, it's not
Sure,
an official, it's not an official count.
Exit poll.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Now,
right.
so now instead of biking through the lakefront properties, you're just
Yeah.
gonna bike through the whole village.
Yeah,
No big deal.
yeah, okay, just another 30 miles on a bike. yeah.
How are those delivered?
You drove
Me on a bike.
You were the bike to every house on the lakefront.
25 miles I rode that day. 4.5 hours to go, and I only targeted the houses that had boats with shrink wrap or other
Wow.
watercraft with shrink wrap, yeah. It was
Door-to-door
fun. My
bang.
thighs, I couldn't walk the next day. Eric's a biker. Eric, get you on a bike, yeah. Eric
I
could probably do the
mean,
whole thing in 2 hours.
Yeah,
I'll
when we
bring a
did
motorbike.
when we did the sewer set, I didn't bike, but I drove
When
around.
next time we're
Put
doing,
one on every
we'll time
house.
you guys.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I have a
We might-
contest.
I thought it'd take me 2.5 hours. Yeah, 4.5 hours later, I'm just getting home going, woo, that was a longer thing.
Yeah, we did, like I said, for the set, we did the same thing. Handed out flyers to every house that was on a sewer line, got a flyer.
But if I think about it, if we split it up, we divided and conquered,
As
it would be a whole lot
As it turns
easier.
out, there's like 9 people that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
participate.
But anyway, I'm just saying that as far as the advertising, to really get the biggest bang for our buck, the website is great, the Facebook page is great, but I mean, I don't really know how many people, if you look at the entire village, how
Good
many.
thing we've got a $1,000 publication budget. We
Yeah,
can print
no.
some stuff. You don't have to go to work and do this. That's what I did too. I printed a bunch of stuff at work.
But so we're April, so it's like a month away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can we really pull this together in a month?
Be tough.
I don't think so.
Just,
If we're looking at June, the golf thing is on the 10th.
Yeah, I say honestly, a month though, right? That's a lot of days to actually do something. It just seems like we're not doing anything much between the meetings, so. Yeah, where we are now, I mean, if people are taking stuff offline and we're coordinating, we're sending emails, giving each other phone calls and actually getting it done. I don't see why we couldn't do it in a month. It's just-
Well, but again, if you think of like the first week or so in June, people have younger kids, when does school get out for young
like
kids?
June 12th, somewhere in
June
there.
14th.
So still, nobody's taking off for vacation, the end of May or maybe the first week of June, because kids still have school. So pushing it off to the end, the first or early part of the second week of June.
How many people are we actually going to miss from vacation too? Like, not everybody in the town goes on vacation at the
Well,
same time.
I've gotten to where I do not plan my vacations away in the summer, because it's like, I
Well,
didn't live on the lake until
you have
soon.
young kids.
I don't have young
You gotta
kids,
wait
but yeah,
till
but
they get out
it's
of
like,
school.
most of my life, I went on vacation to a place like I'm living now, so it's like,
Yeah.
all right. When I go on vacation, I'll go in the winter.
So you said there's a golf event on the 10th?
Yeah.
So if you go into June, you're realistically looking at the 3rd or the
Yeah, what's the
17th.
first weekend in June?
June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Yeah, Saturday is 3rd,
Yeah.
10th, 17th.
Yeah, 3rd, 17th, 24th.
I think that might be I'm just saying, I think that might be a safer bet for us.
Yeah.
That gives you
So-
2 extra weeks.
Yeah.
Which,
And who
Probably
knows?
be safe.
May 20th could still be cold for all we know.
I always go to a golf outing that week in May, and I've played in, it's bad sometimes, so.
Yeah.
It's when you really need those
So
jello
do we
shots.
want to pick June 17th? Or do we want to pick June 3rd? It can't be the 10th.
June 3rd
June
on the
3rd.
calendar
Third.
says
Wanna go third?
2 PM Lake Rally.
Oh,
Oh, Lake Rally.
Yeah.
What's a lake rally?
That's
It's
the,
the fundraiser for
it's
the
like, yeah,
fireworks.
fundraiser. It's like a scavenger hunt on the lake.
Oh.
great. So 17th?
17th.
Isn't that the weekend of Father's Day? Is that something, we were concerned about that with Mother's Day? So just, I guess, bringing that up.
But
Isn't that
I think
weekend?
there's a free Saturday around
June
Thanksgiving.
Is that
18th,
Sunday?
Father's Day, yeah.
Pick a Wednesday.
You're right.
My sister's birthday is that day, so I always know it's around that time.
I don't know when Father's Day is.
Well, we said we didn't want to pick it. we said we
Father's
didn't wanna
Day
do
is
it
the,
on-
ninth.
Father's
That's
Day
why
is
I
the
mentioned it,
19th.
because we.
That'd be a
talked
nice
about
day.
Excuse me,
Father's Day.
Father's Day's the 18th.
Yeah, so
18th.
So it
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah,
be,
yeah, so
17th
Saturday,
is
yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
Okay.
Be nice to take their dads.
I
to
just
this
know we
little-
brought up Mother's
Yeah,
Day,
it's
so I
Mother's
just figured
I
I'd
think
bring
we
that up
want to do it
too.
on Mother's Day for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so, June 17th, everybody
Yes,
good
that
with
gives
that?
us a little bit of breathing room to get our stuff together.
So we're talking June
at
17th
the
at the
park,
park.
June 17th, so we're rolling.
Okay, park,
We got a
okay.
place.
Well, we did this before, but it was
Well,
May 15th at the
I
dock.
haven't written it down.
Yeah, I think that was a
So now
little,
you gotta do time.
so yeah,
Yeah, which is fine. I think doing it from 10 to 2
10 to
type
2,
of thing is,
10 to
Even
2.
11 to 2, 3 hours?
yeah. I'm cool with that.
3 would be
10 or
plenty.
11? 11
I'd
to
say
2?
11 to 2 would be plenty. That encompasses lunch and,
All right,
Yeah.
I'm good with 11 to 2. Anybody object to 11 to 2?
Do we have to reserve the park? Let the city know?
Okay. Well, let's just take all those things, okay.
Who,
So who is going to follow up with David on what's required from a permit perspective to do this in the park?
I
on June
will,
17th?
I will.
So
I don't
Rob,
know who David is, so I know.
you're going to.
So David, for a permit,
If required.
permit, As needed, okay.
June 17th in the park.
All right, I'll talk to David.
Okay, from a food
And also not to pursue the permit that we would have needed for the Michigan Boat Launch.
Okay,
I mean, I'm sure he'll assume that.
Yeah, I don't think he went after that anyway, so
Yeah.
it should be fine. For food, anything other than prepackaged food, a food service license must be obtained by Oakland County Health Division. If a food truck is going to be on site, they'll need a copy of the food service license for the given business. So if we're doing food, i.e. someone's grilling hot dogs or something, then we need to get a food service license. If there's a food truck, then the truck would have it, and we would just need a copy of it. So,
what we're gonna do, like hot dogs and something?
Well, if you do a food truck, then they have to buy their own food.
Well, right, but
And
that's
we're
your
thinking of
donuts,
just-
that was
right,
just
Kyle?
donuts.
Yeah, and I'm actually reaching out to the 2 people to see if that works.
The mini donut thing.
The 17th, to make sure that the mini donuts are still available, and then Genco cabinets is still available.
And what,
Genco
yeah,
cabinets.
okay,
Well,
so,
there
all
was a
right, so
discussion
Kyle,
about whether or not we were going to have people buy their own food or if we were going to give them hot dogs. And that's where we talked at one time, because I contacted Kaya to find out if the truck would
I
be.
mean, I think
I
that,
think hot dogs on a bun, mustard, ketchup.
I think that's, it's easy, it's simple, and we're getting help from Penny Lake Market, right?
Yeah, where who would physically be cooking them in the park?
I will be a cook.
I've been
They have
cooking
grills
for-
there?
I've been cooking
They have
for
grills
the,
at the park, that's where.
All right,
For
so we
the
got our
festival.
cooks,
And you
we
and
got
me?
our cooks,
Okay, so,
Ed and
okay,
Paul.
and Kyle's on food truck.
and I
Food
don't,
truck and
Donut truck.
bounce house.
I'm not sure, we'll probably have to get some kind of permit from Health Department.
Right, yeah, we're going to check with.
I'll check with
And
that.
they- and I don't-
I'm gonna check with them.
And they're keeping the grills right down there
Yeah.
at the village.
Because they do it for the
It said a
cornrows.
food service license must be
They do it for
obtained
the
by Oakland
cornrows,
County Health
so-
Division.
Yeah,
There's gotta be a
but I think the
process.
small grills that they have there will be more than enough.
It says the Parks and Rec Board obtains this license every year for the corn roast in September. So
Okay.
it's pretty common, it seems.
So David would be the guy to go to for that regardless? Or is there somebody from Parks and Rec we gotta go to?
No, I think it'd be David. So who wants to cover food service permit for hot dog?
I'll do that.
Okay. Food service.
Yeah, you're just going to cover the, what do we need
All the
from the
perm-
city?
all the permits, yeah,
and-
yeah.
Stuff
okay.
from David. Okay, Kyle, donut truck.
Yep.
Ed, you're on Penny Lake hot dog stuff.
Yeah, Paul and I will take care of the hot dogs.
Hot dogs, condiments,
That's,
I'll be
okay.
chopping onions.
Who's
all
doing the
night.
knot tying thing?
Was that one of the things that,
Genco said they could do a knot tying, as long as they're still available.
Yeah.
And
Now, we
then,
should-
and then wasn't there, you were talking about like a casting
I-
thing or something?
I had a thought, like, I will make a phone call, like Adrian College, they have a bass fishing team, like, and I've seen them at, like,
Yeah.
Cub Scout events and stuff, like,
Yeah.
I know the AD at Adrian, I'll give them a call. Maybe we could get, like, their bass team to bring their boat and show people, like, how
Good,
to.
but I talked to the bait shop ahead of time, they were excited about maybe getting involved with it somehow, and
Yeah.
I understand we got other resources, but I'd like to use somebody local if they're willing to.
sure, but what were they going to specifically do?
They were waiting to hear what we wanted them to do. I said, well, it could be a casting it could be a, how to whatever,
Doing a casting competition would be cool. If you
Would
had
that be
them like
fun?
try and hit a target.
yeah. Ring a
Right.
bell.
Okay, so do you guys want to call the bait shop and then talk to each other and get something?
You wanna do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, telephones and emails and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, if you could get one of the universities to come out with their group,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
because
'cause they're looking
they'll
to promote
communicate
their-
with the kids.
They're looking to
a lot
promote
easier
their
than
program
Graham.
too, so.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Paul and Jim,
Yeah.
coordination of some kind of
Activity.
fishing-related activity.
Yeah.
All right,
And if
so-
we could divide and conquer, and the bait shop wants to do something else, we should do something about, we talked about life jackets, where we talked about maybe
Oh, having the police.
the police could do something about life jackets potentially?
Melissa, you wanna follow up on the police?
For life jackets?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Well, if they have well, they could put the boat there for a couple hours,
Yeah.
but if they
That's what we
don't,
were originally saying down here.
Well, they
is
got that
could
new
bring them-
fancy one now too, so that might be kinda cool. These boats.
Sometimes, because sometimes they come down there with the truck, and kids like just seeing the lights on, so having the police boat there might be okay.
You know what the kids would
Who,
love?
who would Melissa contact for that though?
I'd contact Ellsworth.
Oh, yeah, Jim Ellsworth, yeah.
We had a trailer
Who'd
of
you say?
harvester over there.
Chief
Ellsworth?
Ellsworth.
Okay.
You can get him on the Facebook page. if
Or
you
just
don't.
email them, like,
I mean, even if you just took the different life jackets and showed the people how, the right way to put it on, just sticking it over your shoulders.
I think one of the things is the actual Type 2 life jacket for kids is like impossible to find, and most people don't even know you need it, but you're supposed to have it. So I think having a kid's Type 2 life jacket, just
Yes.
so people see it,
Yeah.
is probably important.
Yeah, especially if they don't realize, maybe you could have a display, you know, this is adult.
Yeah, we just need all of them.
Right.
You know, the different types of life
Right.
jackets and
Well,
why,
that's a
which
good
ones you
idea,
need.
display of all of them.
Yeah, because, I mean, I have.
I have
life
them
jackets.
all.
I figure if I can tie it on a kid, I'm fine, but apparently that's
No,
not the
I
case.
got busted for it. I didn't even know about it.
The type 2.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
So
kids, you
I-
need a Type
I
2,
moved the
which
right one.
people never realize.
Yeah.
But literally just a display of life jackets, and if they can't do it, I could do that because I got them all. I've got every kind of life jacket you can imagine.
I think you should blow up poster size your citation and put it right next to the jackets.
Yeah. All right, so just so we know, so June 17th for the safety fair from 11 to 2, Clara Miller Park. I'm going to follow up with David on all the necessary permits for food or the site or whatever. Kyle's going to do the food truck and bounce house. Ed and Paul are going to be the chefs. Casting competition, Jim, you're going to follow up with the bait shop. And then Melissa's going to follow up with the police with the boat and life jackets with Chief Ellsworth. Yep. All right.
Cool. So do we think we need anything else? You got some food, you got some slides, you got some life jackets, we've
How
got,
about advertising?
yeah. it's
Yeah,
fine.
we don't have the spinal column anymore.
No, I can take care of that.
What happened to spinal column?
What
You go out?
advertising?
That's gone.
Yeah, you get on your bike with me and run
Probably
around
close
and
to a
things in
year
everybody's
now.
mailbox.
Really? I know
Was that
where
like a print newspaper? or
Um,
something?
Yeah.
At $1,000.
Well, we've got those signs at the end of the road. Those work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the electronic.
Yeah, just
signs.
like, just like when you have to, change something on your house and they mail it to all your neighbors, we could probably do something like that, right?
We
You
literally have
know
a
what?
$1,000 budget. We can
Let's do
tell
that.
the village, we want
That's
to
a
print
lot
and mail one of
easier
these things and mail it to everybody in the
Stuffing
village.
every mailbox, I'll
Done.
tell you.
Right?
Okay.
Sounds great.
I'll take care of the advertising or figure out how we're gonna do it. So take care of the Facebook and
Are
whatever.
you,
How
are you
tough would
going
it
But
to?
I'm not gonna start advertising if
How tough would it be to get the harvester over there?
It wouldn't be hard.
because we talked,
they?
yeah.
It might be hard to
I
get.
It's probably already in the water. We talked about that, but
Yeah,
on
it's
the
just a
wood.
pain in the ass. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
get it in and take,
Right.
I think they have to take the canopy off the top.
but we,
Just
that
kids
was,
love that
yeah,
stuff.
that was the thing that we
Fire
talked
truck.
about down there. We could have people see how it works.
Yeah.
Because everybody's always curious about the harvest.
Well,
Yeah.
it'll be in the water by June 17th.
Yeah, but we're gonna be over there now.
Right,
Yeah.
so we would have to just, we can just drive it over there. Getting people on and off of it might be a little bit of a challenge.
Is that,
Kind of
yeah, that's right, is
Yeah.
that like a liability thing with all this or what?
Well, they do it with fire trucks.
So
and
do
stuff.
you wanna-
That's
I
true.
can find out if.
All right, you're on Harvester.
Okay, cool.
So you're gonna follow up on the harvester thing? Okay, so, Eric.
Should we try and figure out if there's any type of like baseball games or anything that day? Or anything going on other than what we're doing as far as like parking and then like,
Unless it's changed, I don't think there's any leagues that have games there,
There's the-
but there's practices.
Yeah, so I don't think we have to worry
And
about
if we stay over in that area by
park.
by the park, the slides and the outhouse there, we'll be away from the baseball.
And we'll know if we have to talk about if there's a permit or something we have to get it
figure
from
that out.
David, find out.
Because a lot of that casting, depending on how many people there, we could do it on a tennis court, because that's a long,
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but then you gotta get that tennis court, everybody's playing pickleball these days.
And that's way over there. That's,
Is there pickleball courts at
we probably want to keep everything concentrated down by the playground
They got
and
it taped off
the-
for
Yeah.
pickleball.
the shelter. Where they do the, you guys do the, what is it, the Wednesdays in the park? You guys go to those things? Thursdays in the park?
I've never.
they do that
the
Tuesdays,
pickleball's in the
Tuesdays in the
neighborhood.
park.
those are behind the bathroom,
Yeah.
between that and the walkway.
Yeah, I feel like that's the spot.
All
We
right,
should do it. I think
moving right
Tuesdays in the
along.
park, they do all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
do we feel like we've got good action items here, and then next week, we're gonna come back, not next week, next month, we come back and we have like.
Everything
a real
buttoned
plan?
down,
Oh,
everything
yeah, we'll have
buttoned
a-
down,
We'll have a
yeah.
package.
Okay. And everybody remembers what they just signed up for, right?
Yep.
Aren't you
So-
gonna give us a note?
So there's no, is there any cost associated with anything we're doing? With the bounce?
So
do we
far,
have to
the
pay?
cost-
No, the bounce house is sponsored.
The cost is gonna be advertising,
Oh,
and
but
then
the-
$200.
The $200 for the food truck to come out.
Okay.
Well, and Ed and I are gonna have to find out, I mean.
Yeah, I'll go over there and talk to him and find out. I mean, if he asks me how many do I want, and I go, start with 100.
Yeah,
But he's pretty good about, what we don't use, he'll take back.
Okay.
while
'Cause
they
it's all
last or
packaged.
something. But normally, now they charge at Corn Roast, you gotta pay for the food, so what would we'd have to figure out a charge for, what do we charge them for probably have hot dog, pop, that sort of stuff.
And
Bag
chips,
of
hot dog
chips.
pop and chips.
For a couple of bucks.
Just like you're the person in the Home Depot.
Yeah.
Took those away.
I know.
I don't even go there
Lunch is the
anymore.
pity.
COVID ruined it.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, we're past that now.
I haven't had lunch in a
Okay.
year.
All right, well, that's good. Okay, next topic.
Okay.
Are we good with all that?
No, I would say let's
got?
let's stick with the money real quick. So
So the
this
$200
$200
for
for
the
the food truck.
The advertising, the,
I would say for budget, in Safety Festival, we have $1,000 already
Wait, you're
budgeted.
planning on a food truck and cooking?
well, the,
Well, the
yeah,
food truck is just
Mini
donuts.
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 It's like a treat.
So we have $1,000 already in the budget, right? We don't have to get any additional approval. So
if
the
you're
only
gonna
thing
have
we've talked
somebody
about so
making
far is
tortillas
publications,
and stuff, don't
advertising,
bother with hot dogs.
and we have $1,000 in the budget already. So if they need $200, I'm cool with that. We don't have to get council approval again because we already have it in the budget. So you just would expense it, and we would you'd get reimbursed after the fact.
Jim, do you think
Yeah,
the
that's
bait
fine.
shop will cost anything?
I'll talk to him. I
Paul
don't
is
think
a
so.
better-
But if we start talking about needing money, we've used 200 of our $1,000
So we
already.
got,
Okay.
we got.
I would even still with that food truck, every food truck I've had, they always do like a margin. Like if they make X amount in sales, they like lower your price.
Okay.
Pretty
I
much
can-
everyone I've
I
ever.
could talk to her about it. She just said $200 to come out. I thought of the idea of if you get so many sales,
Yeah.
I can talk to her about
Yeah.
that.
The only thing is, if we're only having a 3-hour event, and you're going to have a donut truck, I can tell you right now, the kids are not going to be eating hot dogs.
Yeah, but this
I
is
sure
not
as
just
hell
kids.
Yeah, but the
It's
thing
not
is,
just kids.
they're-
If it's a 3-hour event,
The
The
donuts are
hot
gonna be
dogs
more
are
expensive than
returnable,
what we're
too.
charging for the hot dogs.
probably, yeah.
I think it'll be
But
okay.
we're probably gonna need some bucks up front to, I mean, it'll probably end up being a wash. Penny Lake is gonna hand us, all the stuff we need without money up front. We're gonna have to buy, give them some dough and say, look, I need 200 hot dogs or whatever.
Okay, so
I'll
what do you want to,
I'll take care of all that, and I'll get a receipt from him, and that can be reimbursed.
okay, it has to stay not to exceed something though, because
No.
we've got 200 going there.
Right, well, it should be a
more than
wash. We
800
should
bucks,
charge
so-
to at least get
Okay.
the money back.
Okay,
But,
I'm sure you're not going to get
Up
him
front.
anyplace cheaper.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then being able to return it.
right,
That's nice
inside,
too.
yeah, unopened stuff.
Okay, all right.
All right,
Cool.
All right,
Good.
good.
Yep.
all right. All right, plant control and invasive species is next topic. I think we kind of already talked about that. I don't know if there's anybody else wants to add. We got treatment coming out on the 24th, so
Right, right.
I think we're good there. And I just want to make sure, I'll follow up with them, because I know they came out to do the survey. And if they did the survey and looked at the canal and said, hey, it all looks good, I got to make sure they're definitely going to treat the canal still.
Just a quick question to educate myself. So plants I got up to speed with last meeting, the gentleman who was there. What invasive species do you typically target?
Milfoil,
Kara,
Stony.
stony starwort, the celery.
Yeah, there's a celery.
So the invasive plants.
Yeah.
anything that, anything that you see pop up.
plants.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, okay.
Not-
So they're
not
basically
animals.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Not animals, yeah.
Palm trees.
Yeah,
And ducks.
You're
all
right,
right,
swans.
where we at? Harvester.
Yeah, what's the deal with the harvester? Are we down to one person? That's what I saw, but,
Down one person.
What happened? How'd that, who's the one person? Did we,
It's the person, I've been trying to get in touch with the person. They've been trying to get in touch with, they live on the island. I don't know what the person's name is. But yeah, it's
I can't hear you.
It's only one person. I sent a note to Steve Runwald too and asked him, and he said he would do as needed. So we do have a backup as needed, but one person officially.
Is that a
Do you know-
40-hour week or a 50-hour week or what? Do you know?
Yeah, no, I don't, as needed as.
It's a variable schedule.
Do you don't know the name of the guy that you're?
No,
Brian?
I went over there and I asked them, they were trying to get in touch with them, so I'll find out. the
Okay,
name.
there was a guy I called last year who lives on the lake as well, and he was interested, but then Grant, and we had Grant and the Grunwald do it, so I'll give you his information so you can contact him.
Yeah, maybe, okay. See what's in.
Yeah, we need to have two. We need to have two. Last year, we definitely were running. We ran the harvester a lot last year, which was great, and we want to make sure we can do at least as much as we did last year. So last year, I think they definitely were running two people pretty regularly. Okay, let me see here. Lakeshore maintenance, erosion cleanup, debris removal. I don't have anything for this section, I don't know. Last year, we ran the harvester 224 hours.
Wow.
100, actually, it was running 199, 224 was total time, so a lot. Anybody have anything for D here? Maintenance, erosion, debris?
Not real, well, I did talk to Paul, at the last meeting, we talked about what are those what are some of those options that we could do?
Oh, I saw in the minutes, something about a filter strip or something.
Correct.
Yeah,
And the only thing that was really one of the options would be to actually clean the drains, and so I spoke with David. So the village does clean the drains on an annual basis. They do the smaller drains and basins. DPW does that by hand. The larger drains are done by a contractor. He mentioned something called Vector truck. I don't exactly know what that is, but
Big
they
big vacuum on a truck.
Yeah, well, that's probably what it is, right. And I guess, and I don't know, maybe you can corroborate this, but council has a line item for both major and local roads to fund drainage and structure cleaning. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay. As for the county roads, though, that's on them, so we don't know exactly what happens, but it appears that at least annually, these drains are cleaned. I don't know if it's any more than annually, but it's actually being done. So, and that really seemed to be the one thing that we could of all the other things, because the other thing was to plant, natural grasses along the shoreline, which that's not going to happen, right? So,
What was this other filter thing that was it? Filter fabric you put at the end of your lawn or something like that?
No, it was like at the end of like your downspouts, like it was like a special area where it would absorb down in there instead of running off.
but that was something that individuals would
Yeah,
have to
sure.
do, which the likelihood might not be that great, but the one thing that we had some control over was the drains, but it appears as though we do something.
Okay.
Whether it's enough, I don't know, but at least annually, these things are cleaned.
Okay. I'm good with that. Next section was lake enforcement issues. I don't think we're this early yet. I guess I'll just comment on my own, but you guys can say what you want. So on the bridge, there's a sign that says, make sure you drop the top of your boat, right?
Drop your top.
It's only on one side of the bridge, and I hit it on the other side of the bridge on Friday.
Because they assume
Well,
everybody.
you'd think if you went down and you were coming back out, you wouldn't put it up and up there, but
Except for when you live on the other side of the bridge. And then you forgot to put it down the first time. So,
Wow.
are you guilty?
yeah, I hit it on Friday.
I did the same thing, no, Phil.
Yeah, I hit it on Friday.
And it wasn't my boat.
Yeah.
I have another friend in the boat who had someone hit the thing, and it wasn't their boat either.
It would be beneficial to me and therefore maybe other people. If we have the same sign on both sides of the bridge, I think it would be nice. I don't know that I would have seen it and then magically helped the situation, but we thought it was important enough to put it on one side. I'd love to get it on the other side because I'm gonna be out a lot of money. So I hit the bridge on Friday.
Wow.
You know, I was always thinking that those plastic strips, orange plastic strips.
Yeah, the dangle.
Just hang them down there, something that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I wish,
But then it still could be too late.
I wish, right, like the bridge,
The bolts.
here, the bridge is here, and then there's the bolt and the nut, and then the bolt is like an extra 2.5 inches longer than it needs to.
those are ugly. I know people have hit their head on
But that's
them.
what I ended up getting caught on the bolts and it ripped the whole thing down.
Oh,
But it's like
geez.
that 2-inch clearance made all the difference. right?
Yeah.
Man.
I got a battery operated grinder.
I was gonna say, that's what we need to get a grinder.
I'd love to go make them as short as possible. I mean,
Well, didn't, one year, remember somebody put tennis balls on the bottom of them?
Yeah, then they all ended up
lasted
in the
for
lake.
almost a
I'm sure
week.
people had fun pulling those off.
It all ended up in the lake.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice to get a sign on the other side.
Okay.
Although you're
Wait.
pre-disaster,
Yeah,
odds of hitting it twice.
probably if I hit it, I've hit the bridge twice in my 15 years.
Okay, now, question.
No alcohol involved. I was stone sober when I hit the bridge.
Well, that's the problem. If you had been drinking, you'd say, don't forget to put that.
No, you know what the problem was? You know why I hit the bridge? Because I was too busy looking for goose nests. I was driving real slow, looking like this, looking for goose nests. and then
Crunch.
My wife was like, Ryan! So they put it in neutral, but it was too late.
Well, we could do a sign, because I worked with the company to get the signs we have up now, the new ones, so I could
But I'm
take
saying, even the one that's already on the bridge, the same one on the other side?
well, I could take a picture of it and have them replicate it.
Well, yeah.
I would maybe, I don't know what budget we would do this out of, because we didn't do the budget for the first time. but
Approach
I'd like to just
council
make-
with it, and not
Just
worry
make a
about
motion.
going through all
Just make
this.
a motion.
Yeah, put it,
Just approach council with it. It's not going to be a
Okay, so
$1,000
I'd
sign.
like to make a motion to add the drop your top sign to the other side of the bridge.
I support.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
there is a discussion in between that.
Yeah.
You missed it, I'm saying.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you were
After the
right.
motion,
Yeah, after the motion, then there's a period of discussion.
then you take the vote.
Then take the vote, that's all.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to bring up in lake enforcement,
So wait a second, just so we
Wait.
finish this, so do you want me to follow up with the sign company to get a quote on that?
I would say just the council handle it.
Okay. Well, if council needs me to
No,
help-
it's okay if you want to do that. Yeah, and then just bring that information to David.
you got a
It'll
package.
help him, because ultimately, we're going to be directing him. It's going to be his problem.
Well,
So
I'll
if you
do it,
wanna
because
make it
I
easier
worked with
for
the
him-
company to get the new signs we have, so I'll do that. I'll take care of that.
I think
yeah, I don't think
David
there'd be any
appreciates
issue
that
there.
more than you
With
know.
all the signs we have in the community, that sign is definitely something that's missing.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
put it up. I mean, if you guys are smashing your boats left and right, yeah.
I know 3 people that
Or
have
maybe
done
we
it.
should have some more classes.
I've only lived here 3 years, and I know 3 people that have did already.
Well, I think we're missing a fundraising opportunity.
My,
You know how you got all those alarms around your car these days? When you say, hey, we could have Bimini beepers, you know, and sell them to people. Sets off an alarm.
yeah, I usually have my
I'm sure the
boat
residents
parked in
will
like
bet.
one of those like boat garage things.
Yeah,
the Floating
yeah.
boat garage. So when you park it in there, the top is already down, right? And
Yeah,
then you,
right.
but it's not in yet, and then to put the regular cover on it, the top has to be up, and then I left it up, so. Symptom of having the boat in so early, because the weather was super nice on Easter.
There you go.
All right.
All right,
I want to bring up the excessive speeds on the lake. We've got jet skis out there that I know do 80 miles an hour, and they do it all the time. Now, the chief says that he doesn't have any way, or the boat doesn't have any way of using a radar gun.
we talked about this. We made a motion to council about investigating a better radar gun for the chief. He came in and talked about it, said that they have the equipment that they need. He admitted it sounded like this was a no actionable thing associated with it. He made it sound like they had
I
the
find that
equipment.
hard to believe, because I know Cass Lake does it, Orchard Lake does it, and the thing is that it's not like they're just going around the lake like this. There's this one kid that comes out from underneath the bridge that at or before the buoy, he's at full speed. And then they get out in the middle of the lake and they're doing all this zigzag in the water, splashing and everything, fine. But there's people out there in a pontoon fishing that they're coming pretty close to. And then when he's done doing all his acrobats, he comes in at about 80 miles an hour and he gets about 75 feet from the buoy and he pulls up that handle and a big rooster tail comes up and stops. And you know, I had one, they're fun, but on some of these days when all these boats are out there, they should have enough common sense.
What can we do about it? I mean,
Speed limit.
Huh?
There's a speed limit on the lake.
There is, 50
Yeah.
miles an hour.
And all I'm saying is if a policeman said, look, I stopped you because I know you're doing a hell of a lot more than 55. Now, if this is going to go on, I'm not going to give you a speeding ticket, I'm going to give you a reckless operation ticket.
I think last time he said that the guns in general have a hard time picking up the jet skis, but they can.
There's not enough metal.
He made it sound like he has the equipment that he needs.
Yeah, I think he
We
says-
literally had him here talking about this exact issue, not.
Yeah, because I think he said he can pick up the speed. It's just a little harder because they're a smaller target, I think is the idea. But I think what he said was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he said that the radar gun does effectively work to pick up the speeds of the jet skis.
I'm not hearing you.
The radar gun effectively,
They have, yeah.
It's not an equipment issue.
it's not an equipment issue. The radar guns do work.
Okay, then,
It's-
did he give you a reason for why that nobody's gotten a speeding ticket on this lake?
Well, I think we had a report last year that there were a number.
They did more.
It's just that maybe these guys are out, what you're seeing is when the police aren't out there. I mean, I know they were out there the other day riding around like wild people, the three of them, but nobody else was out there, and there certainly weren't any police out there. So,
Are they patrolling?
I don't think yet, the
Yeah,
boat's
I
still
haven't seen-
covered.
Yeah, I haven't seen the.
Yeah, and it's obviously, if you want to do something silly out on the lake, you just go by the access, oh, the boat's in a wreck, so I can go crazy. But my biggest concern is that, you know, I know when I had one, you don't drive them in circles, you go crazy with them. But I know when there's a lot of boats out there, and you're doing that kind of stuff, and going that fast with all those boats parked in a deep hole,
Here's, there was one ticket for reckless operation, speeding causing wake. I don't know if that has,
that's a boat.
Are we working toward that proposal?
I don't know. We've already talked about this. We did make a proposal. It went to council.
Yeah.
They said they didn't need equipment. We had the
Point of
chief
order,
in
maybe we
here.
move on?
Yep. Yeah, well, I'm good. All right. Water Management Board goals and objectives. I don't have anything to add there. Next time, I just don't think we really have the time to do it right now. We can kind of go through and divvy out the work since we've got more people on the board, but we generally have a goals page that's on the drive that splits up everything and gives responsibility to different people for different things. I think next time we should go through it. and
Does it
probably
change
divvy
that
out.
off from year to year?
No, it doesn't. It
And I-
doesn't,
and I
but I
mean,
think when we
we've-
talk about the budget and we have new projects and we say who's going to do what, we can just kind of go through that.
Which we've done with the safety thing.
Yeah.
We've done with the recycling thing,
Yep.
so, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So I don't have anything to add there. Website contents, last time, I think you guys did the motion to go get the website handled, right? Did that go to council? I didn't see the
It
council.
didn't go to
minutes.
council, so.
It didn't?
We
No.
looked to see if the other entities could split the cost.
Yeah.
Because we felt that,
Right.
like, with all the information we're putting on there were other, like, Park and Rec.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, the other people would be utilizing that information as well as us. And then the cost was such a large percentage of, like, our annual budget that was given to us. We thought we would see if other entities, other boards would help offset some of
But
that.
we
Because
have-
I think Jim's point was
We had the
that-
budget to do it, though.
No, well, we do, but Jim's point was that, you know, what was it, like eight?
It was like 80%.
Eight
Like
8,000
80% of
or
our
something?
budget.
It was a big portion of our budget, and, you know, if we look at the number of hits on the website, is spending that much of our budget really, a value to us? I mean, is it worth that much?
I would say from percentage of budget that we have, right, we were taking the website money, the Clean Boats, Clean Water money, the fish count money, which are all things we said we weren't going to actually do, right? And a percentage of the publication money, and that would have covered basically the cost, right, for all things that we already had budgeted, so.
Right, so we have the budget for it, but the thought was that perhaps we could check with Parks and Rec and who else would it have
Yeah,
been?
well,
But I-
yeah, it was Parks and Rec and, well, actually, all the other boards, the zoning board.
What is the difference of whether it's our budget or other budget if it's within the budget?
Well, you could potentially go back and revisit some of those other initiatives that we're not doing. You know, if we could save even $2,000 from some other board, you could go back and reinvest in one
But
of
I
those.
guess,
I was thinking it
sorry,
would be
my
not.
point is the budget year is over, right? We have to
Yeah.
do next year's budget next month, and we
Yeah.
have the budgeted money to do
it.
it.
So
And the
just
other
fire
things
the-
are not going to get done.
Right.
Okay. So,
So, come next month, we're having a new budget, right? Is what you're saying? and then-
the actual budget, do you know when the effective budget year starts? We have to have the budget in, it doesn't start like immediately.
No,
right?
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah.
Right. But, like I
Well-
said, I don't think there's other things that we're saying we won't be able to do.
No, the
that
other
we have
piece of that-
actual plans to do.
The other piece of that, though, is that part of the features of the map, I don't know if we're pared back, but it sounded like there could have been far more added to that interactive map than was. So if some of the expense were shared, then more features could be applied. That's my thinking as far as that. And I
Right.
remember when Brian Nedro's on the planning commission with me, and I remember mentioning it from the water board report. And it sounded like a favorable thing to the people on the planning commission, depending on, because if more people are involved on this map, then you may end up with them wanting more features. I'm on the planning commission, so I'd like to see these kinds of things. If somebody
Which could
wants to
drive
have a
more traffic
chicken
to the
ranch,
site.
yeah, if somebody wants to have a chicken ranch, I want to know how far it's going to be from whatever.
So
I
other
would say
committees could
there's-
still add if we're
Right.
using the budget, since the
That's right.
budget's about to end, and
That's
there's
true.
the continuing
Yeah.
hours to maintain the website. These other committees could still do it, and it wouldn't be as expensive as what
Exactly.
we're.
We're not going to undo, it's like min viable.
It's
of
gonna be
Get the
there.
thing built, get the beta, make sure it looks like what we want, and then adding content is an easy thing that we do over time.
So they still could do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's actually what I was thinking as well.
Well, but yeah, we wanted to just wait until you go back, because I figured you'd have some,
Yeah, I mean, so where did we leave it last time? I guess I saw that in the minutes. For some reason, I thought in the minutes we approved it,
It
but I
was
missed it.
effectively what you sent via email, if I remember correctly.
yeah.
But we said we'll get it to another board or something?
We were
No,
going
I
to-
thought it was going to go in front of the council.
That's
Yeah,
what,
it would've
That's
gone.
what I thought.
But it got caught up with David, I can almost
Okay.
guarantee, because we need more information. If that would have gone in front of council, it'd been so difficult to explain that nobody would have been comfortable passing it.
Gotcha. All right.
And that's my speculation, but I bet I'm not far off.
Yeah,
what
I would
was the
agree.
more info that was needed from David? Do you know?
Well, I think only in the respect that if we asked them for the dough, it would have been a matter of having to explain the whole map from the perspective that we had,
Okay.
and we'd sat through all the meetings and they haven't,
Oh,
kind of a
okay.
thing. So it's just
One thing.
too big a ball of yarn to untangle.
I've already brought it to council once before, though.
Yep.
So,
Would you mind doing it again?
no, I don't care.
I think that you won't have any problem getting it passed if you can explain why it's valuable to the village,
Mhm.
what types of uses it has now, what types of uses it'll have in the future.
Sure.
And piece it together. It's inside of your budget,
Mhm.
so it's a pretty easy sell.
And then any additional build on it for other councils, right, could.
Correct.
Yeah.
And boards, the other boards.
Other boards.
Correct.
Other boards.
Yeah, other boards could put things on it, as well as even some of the committees probably could put some things on.
Do you have a copy of the minutes from last time? I think I gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do.
Our
Want to
minutes?
see where it ended up here, and then I can go to bring it to council, that's okay. because I thought we like shed some of the costs.
We did, we had them pare back
We did
on a
ask.
couple of things.
Your email says, to propose a motion to hire Progressive AE for website, but only include 15 hours of map
Yeah.
update and maintenance, which would bring their website total down to $6,210.
Which we then have budget for. Okay, so,
Yeah, you got the
request council share. Okay, so let me, because I thought then that would have went to council, but I guess let me get with, you think I need to get with David?
For what, forgive me?
So we did have a motion last month, right?
We
To
did.
have the website get approved and issued to Progressive.
What is that?
That was what we had sent in, but it sounds like it didn't get to council.
Nope, correct.
So you think I need to get with David or go to council with it? How do we need to do that? I guess I could follow up with David and find out how come it didn't get to council.
The only motion we had was to request council consider sharing the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there was no,
I guess I don't even know what that means, though. What does that mean?
The sharing the cost would have been, instead of sucking our budget, it would have shared the
Right.
cost amongst other budgets throughout the different.
But we didn't break it down specifically
No,
as to
we
who would do what portion. Again,
Correct.
it came down to, could other boards or council contribute to this based on their needs, and whatever they would want specific to that, customize that map
Okay.
or website.
I hesitate to recommend this in case I'm wrong, but I believe it would be best if you made the motion that you would like with the proper dollar amount and vote on the proper dollar amount.
Yep.
Um,
I think that's the
I
best thing to
haven't
do.
ever run into this problem, but I think the issue will be the dollar amount. If your cost to get the website additions are full price of, I had $8,460, and in
Yeah.
what was given to David is,
Well, this was 6210, and the difference is we
6210.
basically said, instead of
Sure,
doing
you
40
cut the
hours of maintenance,
hours.
cut that.
and you'd like to add that back in, right?
No,
Oh,
I think
you-
we just do it as is, 6210, and we've got 6,500 in our own budget that we can combine
okay.
and cover it, so.
And then I think that would be the rate that any other board, like the
Yeah.
continuing maintenance,
They would,
the hours we cut.
all additions
is
would
what
come
other
in at
people would pay.
$90 an
Yeah.
hour per the hour for any board that wants to add anything. There we go. So let me kind of jog my memory and the math real quick. So we said, we would take it down, beta version of that, maintenance, blah, 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 blah. All right, I'm trying to find the email that I had sent.
How much would you like council to consider sharing?
I don't think we need them to share anything. no.
Right, yeah.
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Flesh that out later.
Yeah, hopefully we can do just that. By the time it gets on the agenda, it'll be missing that, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Just.
Do we have a,
I don't have the information here, so let me just do the math real quick and make sure we can cover it. This was the original quote from them.
Right,
So
that's
it was-
on Progressive AE.
2,700.
do we have an, like, a idea of when the new budget would start?
60, and then, hold on one second. I don't know. He wasn't sure either. I should know that, but I don't.
What's that?
Unfortunately. When the new budget year starts.
No,
You could look it up real quick if you
Yeah,
want.
I'm looking right now.
it's not like we choose it.
Yeah. 40 times 90. Okay, equals.
July 1st, I believe, is the new budget. I believe the fiscal budget is July 1st, but.
That's,
8460. Yeah. Okay, and we want to do equals 6150 is what we said, 6210. And then equals this, minus this, equals this, divided by, how much is it, 90? 15, so it was 15 hours, okay. 15 hours. So that was the plan, was to say, have them build the website, do the data collection, do the interactive map, including 15 hours of updating, That gets us to 6210, and we can cover that with the fish count, the website, and the Clean Boat, Clean Water budget, no problem.
Do you have this, or do you want it?
No, I was just going to make a motion to clarify that and then send it back to council. Does that sound reasonable?
Brilliant.
Okay, you ready to type?
Gotcha.
Okay, we're going to make a motion to hire Progressive AE to do the website per their quote. What we want to do is have it include the data collection, the interactive map, and 15 hours of map maintenance for a total of $6,210. And that should be covered by the water board's budget through line items that will combine. We have a line item for the website, the actual fish count, and the Clean Boat Cleans Waters. And that gets us enough money to cover it. It comes out of our board projects budget.
Second.
Okay, discussion, we good? Everybody good? I think we're good. All, I guess roll call vote on this one since it's funny.
Discussion.
Discussion?
What have you-
I'm sorry. I'm still hung up, could be an unpopular opinion, but just with the website traffic that was presented to us before and the numbers down there, and like, while the map is a useful tool, I mean, not being around for the discussion of like the Clean Boat, Clean Water, or the fish count, I'm just concerned that the money for the website is going to have a less impact on like the actual condition of our lake and the health of our, our community than spending it on other programs such as directly going into the preservation of the resource of the lake.
Sure.
So that's my biggest concern,
Yep.
such a large percentage of, what I get where you're at with like, we're up against it, we don't have time to do, initiate these other plans, these line items at this point because the budget's gonna roll over anyway, I get that. But just as someone trying to act responsibly for, the water board and the preservation of our lake resource, I'm not comfortable with approving such a large amount
Sure. Did you-
for this resource. And I just want to go on record on that.
Sure.
That's my thought.
Right, so have you read, I guess, do you know what the intent of the website is or what information? will
I
be
was
there?
in at the initial meeting where you had various things from like access sites, lake depths, forget what some of the other things were in, but you had different
Yeah.
overlays over the top.
Yep.
Where the drains were, where the
Let people
dam
know where
was.
they, yeah, exactly, the depth, kind of fishing locations. We talked about with the parks, they could have master plans, so we got a variety of things that it can be used for, right? Lake access points, pretty much anything where we can, even for our own work that we just did, where were the goose nests so that we can document them and do it next time, right? Like we can have a constant thing that we could provide.
Where the invasive plants are too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
It's not a-
discounting the
this is fine.
value, I'm not discounting the value
Sure.
of having a site like that. My concern was, if you just looked at it like you're spending $6,000, and I think one of the numbers we thought was like 500 hits on the site, and we don't even know like where on the website those were going, like how many were on like the water board. So if you just, if you're just doing simple math, if you had, 100 people visit that map at 6,000, I just question the value of that amount of money. If we were generating more, I think the next thing to do is if this passes and this goes into place, one thing we should then try to do to get the most out of our money would be to find a way to drive the traffic to that site more than just have it float out there. That would be the only way I think it becomes where we would get a return on our investment. Like in the current format with the amount of traffic we were presented last week, I just couldn't justify, the amount, whereas in my mind, it could be better spent on like hammering invasive species or improving the water quality or removing some of the debris from the bottom of the lake. And those are all things, maybe we could discuss when the budget gets renewed. But, that's just my
Well,
point.
like, I think for those things, that we're sort of maximizing what we can do for the invasive species. And cleaning up the bottom of the lake, there's some inherent challenges
Sure,
with that.
sure,
because
and
of the
I
toxins
want to
in it.
learn more,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Start pulling stuff.
Agree with what he said. The one thing I wanted to bring up is on the lake, there are so many maps up there. I can't believe we need maps to tell you the depth of the lake, the formation of the lake. Every time we get something from the weed control guy, there's a beautiful map underlaying all that information he has. And I think we're spending a lot of money on stuff we already have. Have you ever seen all the maps that we have up there? And things, houses might have
What does
changed
up there mean? What-
in the village,
Where? Oh.
in the village, in the files, in the offices. I have a bunch at home.
From my understanding, it sounds like they're going to use some of the data that they already have and put it in this GIS map software, so it's all interactive, and then it has one home. So like they are, like all the maps that you've seen that you like, it'll be in one place that other people can also see it as well.
Because when you say up there, I mean in the files, nobody
Yeah,
can see the files.
if you walk into the village and ask me, I'd like to see.
Nobody's going to walk in the village and look at a lake,
No.
a map.
And-
It's not gonna happen.
Well, what makes you think that you spend $6,000 and have them on a table, that the people are gonna pick them up and take them?
my
Look at
guess
that washing station they had. I can step out the door and look down the street and tell you how many times I've seen anybody use it.
Yeah, I know, that's a
Well,
great
it's
reason
the
why
same
we're not
old
using
crap.
$2,000.
Well, okay, but technology tends to help us. I mean, there's cost avoidance opportunities. I'll bet that somebody from the DPW doesn't go down there and look at the bridge nearly as much as they used to now that there's a transponder where they can see how deep the lake is and.
No,
or
it
how-
literally, when
what
it gets
the
to a
level is.
threshold, it emails him, and he knows he's gotta go out there and open the gate.
Right. So he doesn't go down, it's raining, Christ, I gotta grab my umbrella and go check.
Other boards and committees will also be able to use
Yeah, of
this.
course.
Absolutely, and add to it.
And add to it,
Yep.
as you say.
So, I mean, and hopefully it will drive some
Yeah.
traffic to there, not just from committees, but I mean, the avoidance of having to do things like,
I would say even the stuff, the dashboard that we have, and I know people that use the dashboard just for the water tank.
And how many
Alcohol's water.
maps do you plan on printing up?
It's not printed.
Yeah, printing. It's all gonna be
It's
online.
online.
It's all gonna be
It's
online.
It's on the
And that's gonna
website.
cost $6,000 to do that?
yeah, but you'll be able to do stuff like
It's a lot
type
of
in the
data.
data you want from
It's
the
a lot
lake.
of data.
Yeah,
that
it's
kind of
building the
it.
map
GIS
and
is like
then
a
having it such
specialization.
that you can have layers and
Yeah,
people
it's
can
a
link to it.
link,
If you want to say, here's a link to the fishing spots on the lake, or here's the depth. It's
Yeah.
a unique link, it goes and it's the same image, but now it shows you the depth.
Yeah.
Now it shows you the next thing. It shows, for us, we would like to know where the water inlets and outlets are and where the drains are. Yes, I have a map that has got inlets and outlets of the lake. It's like a map from 1960 with a couple of lines here and there.
Yeah.
We get the GPS locations of those things and have them documented, right? Where are the drains that we clean?
But for me, it would be stuff like, next time I hear a complaint about, I never see the harvester out there, I'll be able to call up when it was out there and where it went and email that to them here.
Yeah, I can say for sure, I end up sending static copies of maps to people online when they complain about, this village
Yeah.
complaints, and they say, oh, we got algae and this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
I send them an image and say,
Yeah.
can you tell me which data point it's aligned to? Right?
Yeah.
We could literally just
Right.
use this.
So-
May I politely call for a vote?
Yeah.
Well, you could rudely do it, but you're a council member and
Martini?
Aye, yes.
Dumont? Dumont?
Well, he needs to call for the vote, though, I
Yes.
believe.
Sure. So we had, so the motion, I don't know if we need to repeat it, I think we're aware of what it just was, but, okay, so a roll call vote?
Martini?
Yes?
Dumont?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Jennings?
Yes.
Jankowski?
Yes.
Snyder?
yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Sparks?
Abstain.
Sinkwitz?
No.
Okay, perfect. All right, boat cover recycling.
Yes, a very good success, I think. So I ordered 50 bags at $7 each, and printed off 200 flyers, and I rode around, as you heard, on my bicycle to every house that had a boat that I could see with shrink wrap or some watercraft, whatever it was. And so of the 50 flyers, I got a call from Paige last week, or 50 bags rather, and we only had 7 left, and so I ordered another 25 just in case, which is good because we can use them next
Yeah,
year.
they'll last.
But it seemed to go over pretty well.
Do
And
you know where they say, they're telling them when they pick it up, like, hey, share it with your neighbors? And-
well, that was in the, I created a flyer.
Oh, it was on the flyer.
I had a flyer with all the
The one that
information.
you put my hockey glove in my driveway.
That's correct, yes. Put all that in there, the dates for the drop-off, which would be here on May 6th and May 20th. So there'll be a place here where people can bring them, and then the organization that does this will pick the bags up en masse. And so I think it went over pretty well. For the first year, I didn't expect it to be that popular. I was hoping we'd get at least 20, 25 people to respond, so.
Those bags are huge.
Rob,
I got three
if somebody
boat
had like a tarp, like a blue tarp,
Mm-hmm.
and they had it rolled up, would they pick it up? No, this is just a bag.
It's just the shrink wrap,
All
shrink
right.
wrap,
Thank
just
you.
shrink wrap. Because in the homes, the homes that had the tarp, I didn't even leave one there.
No, the garbage picks it up, but I know somebody's gonna ask me.
Yeah, no, this is just for the white,
Just for the
and
shrink
the
wrap.
blue, probably just the blue too.
Or whatever, shrink wrap, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it went over pretty well, so hopefully,
It'll grow.
we can keep
They'll
doing
look for them
it.
now next year.
Yeah, and it's funny because I would stop and, a lot of people were outside because it was such a beautiful day. They're asking me about it. I'm like, it's a big bag. He said, oh, I got a small boat. Can I put my neighbors in there? Yes, you can. It'll fit two boats in there.
Yeah.
So,
The only thing for next year is
Yeah.
the pickup, they have to be in May, is that dictated by the pickup company?
no, well, first of all, I didn't expect it to be quite so nice so soon. I was trying to, I thought maybe another couple of weeks we'd have lousy weather.
Well, we
before
still
get
got some
good.
coming, I
Well,
think.
we do. So it was between that and trying to negotiate a date for the company to pick them up. I said, all right, well, let's try, May 6th, and then, somebody said, before Mother's Day, so, maybe next year I'll have a better idea when we,
Yeah,
maybe we
maybe-
do a last week in April, and then one in the early May.
So maybe for next year, one April, 1 May would be good, because I know that a lot of boats this year is freak weather, obviously, but
Well, right.
they're basically just bags sitting in driveways right now.
Well, I know, but.
I just want to make sure they don't put them in the garbage
So
now.
here's, what I'm going to actually propose next year, because David was more worried about, if we have these bags somewhere, the wind comes, it's going to blow them all over the place. First of all, I don't think that might happen, and since we do have some storage bays back there, the salt one, there's there's places I think we could safely store them.
Yeah.
And there's even that fence over there. If, God forbid, we get some horrible wind, they're going to blow against that fence. It won't be going into other people's yards. So maybe next year we find a place where we can store
They're
them.
pretty heavy once that covers in them, I don't think.
Yeah. So, but this is
Yeah.
the first year, so
Yeah.
we're trying to figure it out. So I
Rob,
think
you get an attaboy.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks.
I'll give you the good one, it's a good job.
Thanks.
Great, so we'll have it yearly as long as it's going on. All right, goose nest destruction. So I'll give you guys an update on that, although you saw the email. We went out Saturday. I did send a link to people where I kind of put spots on there. We rated, we went up to 17 nests. We got eggs out of 15 of them. 2 on this side of the bridge, 2 down in the canals, and all the rest of them on the far side down by Benstein. That area is like a war zone down there.
Oh, yeah, with the swamp.
Didn't even have time to go down on Penny Lake. So I'm sure there's probably at the far end of Penny Lake, there's probably something we could look at there. I haven't been down there with my regular boat either, but as I'm going out, on the pontoon, I'm keeping an eye out. But almost everything was down on the far end of the Benstein side. Took about 4 hours to do just that top part of the lake. We got 81 eggs, which is good. They got disposed of already, so that's good. I would say it was relatively uneventful. I called Rob the night before we were going out saying, oh my God, we're in for it, because I took the pontoon out and I went down to that far end of the lake, and there were so many geese there. There's 17 nests just like right in that little area. And all the geese were fighting each other. They were flying around. It was wreaking havoc the night before. I was like, my wife was telling me, that I needed to go out wearing my
You're a
hockey,
football
wearing my
guy,
hockey
yeah.
helmet.
But it wasn't bad. The only place we really got,
The canal.
yeah, it was in the canal
I would say-
where a couple geese really got mad and were
Yeah.
trying to fight us off.
Yeah, in general, I mean, when we approached them with the boat and we came in with some relative speed, they basically just got up and flew off the nest. They flew around here and they were complaining, but they weren't confrontational. So
The other two, right?
yeah, in the canal they were angry. They weren't leaving, so you had to push them off the nest. But it went well. Definitely, like, lessons learned for sure. This is not something you could do in a pontoon boat or something. Like, having that fishing boat was key.
Yep,
So
that was
we
big. 'Cause
took-
we were gonna do it in. thinking about
kayaks
doing
would have been
kayaks, that we
impossible.
would've gotten, yeah.
Yeah,
that
so
would've worked.
some kind of aluminum fishing boat is definitely the way to go.
With the trolling motor, that helps.
We dragged the fishing boat around the lake with my pontoon boat. And then I anchored the pontoon boat, we got in the fishing boat, and then we went around, and then we dragged it back across the lake, so that worked out really well. Definitely an event you want to have waders for. We're basically walking around in all the
I think
high grass.
everybody needs to try that, so.
Yeah, definitely something you want to have waders for. I had a Kroger basket that I was using that was actually really helpful. I think 3 people would be better. Obviously, if you had multiple boats, then sure, that'd be great, but I think 3 people would even be better than 2 if you actually wanted to do some documentation, because we were like just in it and covered with stuff, and so the two of us is definitely the minimum. Aluminum boat required, waders required, but you know,
So does this require a second round?
yeah, so we're supposed to do a second round. I don't remember the date. Let me check it right now.
That's something like
29th or something.
29th.
29th, if everybody remembers the 29th. So the second date is the 29th to get out there, or in and around the 29th. I think I got the list of how many eggs were collected previously. It looked like the high of all time was like something in the 100. So if we get another,
108.
what was it?
108.
108. So
2017.
we only got 27 more eggs or something to go.
Maybe if we went down Penny Lake, we would've scored a few more.
So if we score 27 more eggs, then we set the record. So. But outside of that, I mean, went well for the 4 hours we did it. So it was not
Be
a small
the
amount of
bigger battery to have the
Yeah.
motor, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Or 2 boats get an
But still, that was help, yeah.
but it is crazy when you go out there, you see how many geese there are, and then think there would have been another potential 80 of them in
Oh, yeah.
addition to that. I mean, it's pretty significant.
Well, the funny part was watching Ryan in the weeds back there by Ben Street trying to walk on that stuff and not hit the spot where he was gonna go all the way under the,
Yeah, because you're basically just walking on grass that's got holes everywhere. So
yeah.
anyway,
All right.
it was an interesting event.
So
Come on.
who's doing it?
Yeah, who wants to do the 29th?
I can do the 29th. I need a boat, but I can.
Yeah, right.
29th. Is your
I wanna see.
boat available on the 29th?
Yeah.
Who's interested in the 29th? You need at least 2 people, maybe 3.
29th, it's a Saturday.
Saturday the 29th.
I mean, if I'm home, I don't know, I don't have my calendar, but I'll do it just to help these guys out to see what to, give them a little bit of background.
Yeah, okay. Let's check the.
29th.
I'm out
I'm not gonna be able to do the 29th. My wife is in Chicago.
of town. My boat will be around, but
gotta
I
do-
will be gone.
29th of April, right
You're just gonna hand over your keys?
now. Oh,
It's just sitting in the backyard.
Yeah, I just dragged it out last time.
Oh, okay.
my daughter.
My pontoon boat's in now, so it'll be a little more challenging.
My daughter graduates at Michigan, so no, it's not happening. I'm not doing it.
29th. I'm on kid duty, and I don't feel like bringing my 7-year-old with me. Unless you might enjoy
She get to
it.
see the geese. She
So-
could do the count. She could write down, nest number 17, 5 eggs. She would probably like that.
So, do we have a volunteer? We need at least one other person.
Might be able to, try to figure that out right now.
We could do it over email. I think we want to get it done a second time. It should hopefully take less time, but I would assume 4-hour investment
The 28th, right? The 29th's a Monday.
of this month.
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. No,
29th's
look, sorry,
Saturday.
looking at wrong
Yeah.
month.
2 Saturdays from now.
Yep.
Like I said, you could do it Saturday, Sunday, or something. It doesn't have to be exactly that day. They recommend, the DNR recommends days. Not the DNR, what's the DNR?
What
Eagle.
time would it be?
We went out in the
Better-
morning.
It's better to go out in the morning, I think.
Because they're still sitting on their
nests.
nests. Because it's easier to find them versus trying to find the nest without a bird on it.
Right. that'd
So
be tough.
we went out, I mean,
7:30.
yeah, we got up at 7:30 just because we both needed to be done by noon. So. All right, I'll let you guys figure out over email or otherwise on how to get two people together for that, but I'm not available for the second time.
Oh, just one thing I wanted to mention too, the weeds on Benstein Road, just to let you know, I called Oakland County and told them to take care of that this year because they didn't
Okay.
last year. So I haven't been by there to see if anybody does it, but all I would recommend if they haven't, call the county and complain about it again, because I don't know if you recall, but the weeds on Benstein last year were ridiculous. And now those weeds have grown into like
The trees.
Yeah. So I told them, I said, you've got to get out there. So if they don't, I'm just saying, making a plea, everybody, because the more they hear about it, maybe they will. But the woman was very nice and she said, yeah, we'll take a look and take care of that. So I don't know if it's been done, but.
All right, moving on, future business items, open discussion if anybody has anything they want to add for next time. The only thing is the budget, come prepared.
One thing I would like to add is just talking about looking at a map on the screen of the park and kind of talking about where we would want everything set up for the safety event.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so do you want to do that next time?
Yeah.
And then do you want to just sketch a proposal of the things based on what we already know? And then we could
Yeah,
just
I
throw it up
mean-
there and talk about it?
Yeah, and I was thinking just cast it up and then, I was kind of already looking where we could put certain things
Mhm.
and then, after we could just
Sure.
talk about it and nail some things down so that way I can tell like when the food truck comes and the
Where to
bounce
go.
house and all that, you know,
Mhm.
so we can all have it in one location, so we're
Yep.
not spread out all over the place.
Okay.
That's good.
Yep. And when we do the Tuesdays in the park or whatever, it's kind of by the playground, behind where the bathrooms are, down, almost all the way down by Benstein Road. Is
Okay.
generally where they set that up, but there's not a picture of it up there, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. I can show you after where that's normally set
Yeah,
up.
yeah, hold it up.
Okay, liaison report, council.
Well, the boat cover recycling bag campaign went well.
Mhm.
I think we doubled the amount of bags and doubled the budget.
Actually, I only bought 25 more, not 50.
Did you?
I figured we hit the peak, and so I
Okay.
didn't want to have, but we can use them next year, whatever we don't spend, so.
Good.
But thanks for, thanks council for
Sure.
approving
Well,
that.
Yeah, I heard it was very popular.
Yeah.
We had a resolution to requesting funding for communities following pension best practices. So there's some money from Oakland County, it sounds like, if I understand it right, and they have to divvy it up to help out pensions that aren't doing well. Those of you who don't know, we've been adding money, additional money to fund our pension here locally in Wolverine Lake, to keep it helps money that's coming. It's going to the municipalities that didn't fund their pensions. So and there's a little bit of friction, as you can imagine, to that because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years ago, we planned ahead, and these guys didn't.
That's right. And so, but we are working to try to get something. We're not alone. I don't know the coalition. I don't know that part of government very well, but that group is fighting to, at least our commissioner said that they're fighting to try to get us something. Guaranteed, we will not get our fair share.
And to whom the pensions are for, just so I know? who
So like, in our case, DPW workers, our police, they all have pensions, all of our union employees.
And so it's just a matter of them getting more of what we've,
If there is a pension bailout and we don't receive any because we have kept up with our payments,
I see what you're saying.
We owe them.
other communities spent the money elsewhere, let's say,
Entitlement program.
entitlement programs usually.
Yeah.
So they're getting,
Give us a cut.
we're trying. We're trying. And I'm going to go out with the aquatic plant survey, Progressive A&E, Jared Laughlin, who I don't know, but I emailed him and he
Yeah.
got right back. And I
I'm going to.
I'll
When
go.
is that?
I'm going
Oh,
to.
yeah, awesome.
When
It's
is
like
that?
at 2:30 though, right?
May 2nd?
Yeah, is it May 2nd? Yeah.
Oh, so but they already did one then for this April
They
24th.
did one, yeah, they did one already, but yeah, there's
Yeah,
that
I'm
one.
working.
I told, plus I have a work thing that comes up, I was planning on going.
Good. That's it.
Planning Commission,
Yes, for the sake of brevity, we're looking at, apparently the current ordinances don't differentiate between above-ground spas or hot tubs and above-ground pools. And there's some effort to differentiate that in the wording of the ordinances so that pools and spas and hot tubs can be treated differently than as a collective. And that has to do with, like
setbacks or something?
yeah, setbacks and 20 feet back from the shoreline and how high you can make it, gazebos and pizza ovens, all kind of mixes in with that. So there's a lot more hot tubs and spas that have gone in, so I think it'd be wise to treat them differently than an above-ground pool.
Okay. All right,
And that's it.
any comments? All right,
No?
motion to adjourn,
So moved?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good job. Very good. Gavel.